Hello guys, this is DIY Cars Repairs. In today's video, we're gonna remove the radiator in the 2000 Dodge Ram 1500 van, and we're gonna take this radiator out, change this belt and belt tensioner down there. But today we're gonna focus on getting this radiator out. This radiator is not bad, but if you can tell, there's some rust in there, and I believe it's the original one that came in the van from Dodge. So I'm gonna get rid of it. We have a new radiator to put in here. I'm gonna start by draining the coolant and getting this fan shroud out, because it's gonna be the main thing. It's gonna be hard to get out, but seems like there's a lot of access from the bottom. We'll be able to get that out. So to drain our coolant, there's the bottom radiator hose right there on the bottom right side, looking at the radiator from the back, and also there's our drain plug right there. So at first we're gonna have to use this drain plug first, get the most of we can, and also disconnect this hose, and then we'll get some more out. So let's start doing this. So first I tried to use this drain plug, as I said, but it is brittle. It just came apart. So now we're gonna be working on this hose clamp and get this out of the way and get some coolant out of there. Let's do it. So if you're working on an old vehicle like this, you have a hose that you're trying to get off, get your pliers like this, twist, now it's moving, let go, and boom, get ready for some coolant to come out. Now from the top, I'm going to get this cap off. You can see this cap doesn't have it much longer, so we'll get a new cap and we'll get the chains, because the spring right here, oh, that's it. Pull the reservoir out, and you can tell inside this just all rusted. Now we're gonna need to get the transmission cooler lines off, and I'm using a 3/4 wrench, and they come out pretty good. And you get another one right here. Trying to get it. There we go. And with those out, you'll have some transmission fluid that comes out. Make sure you have some new fluid to replace this with. Also, this line right here is supposed to go over there. It looks like it's been out for a while, so right there. And it's supposed to clip, but this clip's kind of old, just like the van is. So we're gonna get those out, and we'll be back for up next. And now, after we have those two lines disconnected from the radiator, we're able to go up top and start working on things up top. So on top, we got this right here is the air intake. We're gonna have to take this out, and also we're gonna have to put those hoses somewhere to the side so we can get through. And also we're gonna have to take out this coolant reservoir. There's 10 millimeters away down there, and probably the washer reservoir, so we can get this out, because I don't know if you can tell or not from this footage, but there's a lot of rust inside of there. We're gonna get it out and get it cleaned best as we can, so that way we can get the most rust out of the system as much as possible. Also, this hose gonna have to come out, and also this bumper brace. Probably we're also gonna have to get this one out. I was gonna say we may be able to keep this one, but we're also gonna have to get this one out. All this is 10 millimeters and it's pretty easy to get to, so let's knock those out quick. So for this, all you gotta do is just give it a little squeeze from the back, and out it comes, and then wiggle it like that. There goes the air intake. And for those hoses, one like that, and try to swing it somehow. Now we get our 10 millimeter. And start taking it back. There goes that one. And then second bolt. Get that out of there. That one from here. And this one right there. And then we'll be able to get this out of that. This one. And that one bolt. And now we got this resting, be able to access this bolt, then that bolt. Now our washer fluid is not in the way, so gotta get this hose out of there. Pair of pliers. Take this out. Down. And this is the rust that I was talking about inside this reservoir. I have to get this out. So this hose right here is a very good example to show what's inside that cooling system. There's a lot of gunk from sitting over the years. And now with this reservoir out of the way, you could see this shroud is held in by 10 millimeter right here, another 10 millimeter for the bottom section, also an 8 millimeter right there in the middle, and then the radiator itself is held in by 10 millimeters also. I want to say 2 on each side. Now next step is we're getting those bolts out, and we'll have the same exact bolts on the other side, but the other side is blocked in by those AC lines, so most likely we're gonna have to go from the bottom to get those out. Let's get to it. Now we got the bottom part of that shroud out. The top part is very hard to get it out, but if you somehow found a way to maneuver it, you could. But for me, first I'm gonna try to get this radiator out, and probably after that I'll have enough room to get it out. Then I'll start working on the belt and the tensioner after that. Let's get to it. So now after we got the radiator out of there, and it was pretty easy to get that fan shroud out of there. After the fan shroud, now we're gonna take off the belt. Get a good angle. There it goes. You're gonna take off the belt. There's a tensioner right there with that 15 millimeter, and then release the tension, get the belt out. And then for the tensioner, there's 2 ways to do it. One way, you could take off this coil right here and go from behind it, but for me it's gonna be very inconvenient since there's not a lot of room around it. So I'm gonna take off this whole bracket. It's held in by also a 15 millimeter right here, and another one under there, and go from there. So on here, the whole reason why we're replacing this belt is because of the squeal noise, and this is what we found. There's 2 lines of the belt that is completely worn out, not like the others. And then when you look at the new belt, it's all the same. That was that old radiator cap. And then in another part of the belt, there's a part of it that's coming apart. That's there to tell you, every 100,000 miles you should check your belt, and if it's cracked, worn out like this, it needs to be replaced. Now you got a whole brand new belt. It's all the same. It's not cracked, and it's ready to go. On this side, I got the tensioner replaced. Now I'm about to put the ignition coil back on, belt back on, and then we put our new radiator in. Now if you look in your fan shroud, you'll find your belt rattling. Make sure if you have AC or if you don't have AC, you use your method that fits your situation. Mine still has AC, so I'm going to do it the same way it is. And the tensioner is the one that has the belt removal word underneath, and this is the reference number. Let's do it. And this is the ignition coil. After replacing this here where is the nut for this belt tensioner, and after we assembled everything, put the belt back on with the tension on, put on the ignition coil back on. Replace my Phillips head bolts with 10 millimeters, so it'll be easy for me to take them off when I need to. go. Oh, let me put you guys down. This after we bolted this in, we'll put this connector back on, make sure it doesn't come out, get the click, and our belt on the tension. Now we'll put our new radiator back in. Do not forget your top part of the shroud, the fan shroud, because if you don't put it in before the radiator, it's going to be very hard for you to maneuver this in with everything else in the way. So here is the top part of the fan shroud, and mainly here my goal is to try to get it in without hitting our power steering cooler or any of that. Tom's gonna have to work with it as much as you can. Pretty tight spot, but a little bit of wiggling, pulling, pushing, all what you got will work. You just need to push it down as much as you can and then position it where you want it to be after. So we got one. Make sure we get it out of the way. All right, now this kind of like the best you will be able to do, kind of. Now we're gonna have to maneuver our radiator in and start to get it back together. Now after we're getting the radiator in, got 10 millimeters, 4, 2 on each side. After you get those on, everything is basically reverse of disassemble. Basically put everything back where it was, and we're still gonna be going through it together, guys. And now we got the belt, fan shroud, radiator, tensioner, all that stuff is in, and currently working on getting the reservoir attached and the 2 bars that were here, they bolt right there, and the washer reservoir. Now this is the radiator cap. It's the old one, it's the new one, identical but brand new. You go right here, this hose, it's the old one, it's the new one, this hose. I'll go right here. I know I had a zip tie on it, but that's not necessary. There's no pressure on that hose. Pressure is all right here, and there's no pressure on the washer. But if you would like, you could add another one, another zip tie if you would like. But this is after everything's together. Brace back up, lays back up, and now we're gonna refill it with coolant. Also, don't forget your air intake. It's right here. That's all it is. Air intake back in, dodge. And now, about to get the coolant and refill it. So now guys, we got the van off the rims and my driveway is leveled, so that way I can ensure that I get the right level and also keep the van filled. And about to put the antifreeze back in. So now I got a small funnel, and there we go, 50-50 coolant. And here's the tip. Put a little bit in, maybe like a half, and then as this is going down, check underneath, make sure there's no leak. In this case, we're good. So I'm gonna keep filling. Obviously, if you have a leak, fix the leak before you keep filling. There's one. Now we're going with the second one. Now, the last step of this process is to start up your vehicle and let the van idle, or if you're working on a car, let your car idle until it gets to operating temperature. But keep an eye on your temperature gauge. Make sure that it doesn't go above the operating temperature. Most cars will be right below most cars will be below the halfway. So on this particular car, it should be like right there. So we will let the van idle for now and keep an eye on your coolant. And if your coolant level goes down, which mostly it will, because there will be bubbles in the system that will blow up, and you'll have to add more coolant to your system. So keep adding coolant until you get to the correct level and your temperature gauge stays in the middle. And I will be back with you guys when the temperature reaches the operating temperature. And now the van been running for a while, probably 45 minutes. So we'll see here the temperature gauge is in the operating temperature and it's not going up anymore, and our coolant level is on the correct level. So that's a job well done. And that was how you replace your radiator and serpentine belt on a 2000 Dodge Ram 1500 van. The process is very similar to a lot of makes and models, especially those convergent vans. They're all almost the same. And if you find this video helpful to you, please subscribe and share the video with your friends that want to change the radiator or the serpentine belt.